The 5 silent killers no one talks about. Why does health decline so fast after 75? Have you ever wondered why so many people seem to do just fine at 70, but by 76 or 77, everything starts to fall apart? It's not just old age, it's not fate, and it's certainly not something that happens overnight. Most of what takes life away after 75 isn't sudden. It's silent, and it builds up from habits, risks, and warning signs that we often ignore. The truth is, 99% of deaths after 75 come down to 5 major causes. 5 areas that, if you understand and manage them early, can help you live, not just longer, but stronger. And no, I'm not talking about miracle pills or strict diets. I'm talking about everyday decisions, what you eat, how you move, how you think, and how you check in with your body. So in this video, I'll walk you through each one of these 5 hidden risks and show you how small changes, starting today, can protect your life for years to come. Let's start with one that most people don't see coming, even though it's right under their feet. Part 1, falls, a small slip, a big setback at 35. A stumble is just annoying. At 55, it might leave a bruise. But after 75, one bad fall can change your life forever. I remember my patient, Mr. Leonard Green, 78, from Colorado. He slipped in the kitchen one morning, just trying to reach for his coffee mug. He fractured his hip and was in rehab for months. He never fully regained the strength to walk independently again. But here's the thing, it wasn't the fall that took away his independence. It was the slow decline after the fall, muscle loss, fear of walking, less social activity, more isolation. And within a year, his world had shrunk from his neighborhood to just his bedroom. Falls are now the second leading cause of death-related injury in older Americans. And yet, they're also one of the most preventable. Here's what increases your risk after 75. Weaker leg muscles and slower reflexes lighting. Loose rugs, slippery floors, medications that affect balance or blood pressure not using support, like handrails or canes due to pride or stubbornness, and ironically, not walking enough because of fear of falling. So what can you do? Start light strength training, even from a chair. Practice balance exercises like heel-to-toe walking or standing on one foot. Near a wall, install grab bars in bathrooms and hallways. Get your vision and hearing checked yearly. Review your medications with a pharmacist or doctor. Dizziness is a side effect you shouldn't ignore. And above all, don't let the fear of falling stop you from moving. Because the moment you stop moving is the moment you start fading. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about how your lungs might be struggling to keep up and how to breathe easier, literally and figuratively, after 75. Part 2, when your lungs become fragile and you don't even know if you've ever felt winded just walking up a few steps or found yourself coughing more often than usual. It might not just be getting older. After 75, your lungs don't bounce back the way they used to. And when we ignore the small signs, we open the door to big problems. Let me tell you about Mrs. Lorraine Taylor, 82, from Oregon. She was always active, gardening, walking her dog, but over time, she started needing longer rests. Then came the cough, the wheezing, a tightness in her chest. By the time she saw her doctor, she had developed early-stage COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, something she didn't even know existed. Here's what most people don't realize. Diseases like COPD, chronic bronchitis, or pneumonia are some of the leading causes of death after 75, and they often begin silently. A little shortness of breath here, a winter cough there, until your lungs are struggling to keep up. So what causes this decline? Years of exposure to second-hand smoke or pollution living in homes with mold or poor ventilation. Lack of physical activity, which weakens respiratory muscles, and yes, even just not taking deep, full breaths often enough. So how do we fight back? Gently but effectively. Move every day. Even a 10-minute walk helps expand your lungs and improve oxygen flow. Practice breathing exercises. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Keep your home air clean. Open windows when possible. Use HEPA filters and reduce dust. Get vaccinated. Pneumonia and flu vaccines are life-saving, not optional. Avoid smoke at all costs. If you used to smoke, great that you stopped. Now stay far away from it. And don't underestimate the power of fresh air. Just sitting outside in the morning sun, breathing slowly and fully, can clear your lungs and calm your mind. As I always tell my patients, every breath is a quiet gift. After 75, it's time to start treating it like one. Up next, we'll look at a condition that strikes without warning and often steals speech, mobility, and even life in just minutes. Yes, we're talking about stroke and how to prevent it before it even begins. Part 3, Stroke. When everything changes in a minute. Imagine this: you're talking to your spouse, sipping your tea, and suddenly your words won't come out, or one side of your face feels numb, or your hand can't hold the cup like it did a moment ago. That's how fast a stroke can change everything. Not tomorrow, not next week, but in seconds. And after age 75, the risk goes up dramatically. Let me tell you about Mr. Charles Bennett, 79, from Florida. He was doing well, walking daily, still driving, reading the newspaper every morning. But one Sunday, while playing checkers with his grandson, his speech slurred, and his right arm went limp. Thanks to his daughter recognizing the signs and calling 911 immediately, Charles survived. But recovery was long, and the emotional toll even longer. Here's what we all need to understand. Stroke is the 5th leading cause of death in older adults in the US, but it's also the #1 cause of long-term disability in seniors. And up to 80% of strokes are preventable. So what increases the risk? High blood pressure, even borderline readings, atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat, smoking, poor diet, lack of exercise, high cholesterol, diabetes, and stress. And sadly, not knowing the early warning signs how to protect yourself or your loved one. Know the FAST test. FACE, drooping RM, weakness, peach, difficulty. I'm to call 911 immediate. Check blood pressure regularly. Aim for under 130. 80th seat. Heart smart. Reduce salt. Increase leafy greens and omega-3s. Manage stress with breathing, walking, or even quiet music. Talk to your doctor if you have any family history of stroke or unexplained symptoms. Remember, prevention doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's as simple as a low-sodium lunch or taking a morning walk instead of another hour in the recliner. As I always say, stroke doesn't knock, it breaks down the door. That the locks we put in place today with our choices can stop it from ever entering. Coming up next, we'll explore one of the most overlooked dangers after 75, not in your heart or lungs, but in your mind. Cognitive decline and how to protect your memory and mental clarity. Part 4, when memory starts falling like autumn leaves, and you don't notice. It doesn't happen all at once. One day, you forget where you left your keys. Next week, you miss a doctor's appointment. Not because you were busy, but because it simply slipped your mind. Then, you find yourself struggling for the right word in a conversation and laughing it off like it's nothing. But deep down, you start to wonder, is this normal, or am I fading? Let me introduce you to Mrs. Helen Monroe, 81, from Virginia, a retired librarian, sharp as a tack for most of her life. But when she began forgetting character names in her favorite books and mixing up medication times, she came to me worried. What we found was early cognitive decline, not full dementia, but the beginning signs. The good news? We caught it early, and with some simple changes, she was able to slow it down and reclaim confidence. Here's the truth. Cognitive decline is not inevitable, but it is common. Over 6 million Americans live with Alzheimer's or related memory issues, and most people wait too long to notice the signs or brush them off as just aging. So what causes it? Poor sleep, social isolation, lack of stimulation, chronic illnesses like diabetes or heart disease, vitamin B12 deficiency, untreated depression, and even dehydration. And yes, not challenging the brain regularly, but here's what helps stay mentally active. Crossword puzzles, reading, learning new skills move your body. Even light walking improves blood flow to the brain. Eat a brain-healthy diet, rich in omega-3 self, leafy greens, berries, and whole grains. Get enough sleep. Your brain cleans itself during deep rest. Stay socially connected. Isolation speeds up mental decline. Don't be afraid to ask your doctor for a cognitive screening. The earlier we catch it, the more we can help. Mrs. Monroe now keeps a journal, takes a daily walk, and has a weekly book club with friends over Zoom if needed. She told me recently, I might not remember every word on the page, but I'm still writing my story, and I want to finish it strong. Coming up next, the #1 cause of death after 75, heart disease. But don't worry, we're going to talk about how to protect your heart without turning your life upside down. Part 5. Your heart has beaten millions of times, but have you listened to it? You can't see your heart, you can't hear it, but every day it beats over 100,000 times, quietly keeping you alive. And yet, after 75, your heart is often the first thing to fail. Heart disease remains the #1 cause of death in seniors over 75. But here's the powerful truth most people don't know. In many cases, it's preventable. Let me tell you about Mr. Harold Green, 80, from Minnesota. He came into my clinic for fatigue. Nothing dramatic. No chest pain, no collapse. Just I feel tired all the time. Turns out, Harold had high blood pressure for years but never took it seriously. He ate what he liked, avoided doctors, and told himself, I'm just slowing down. But his heart was working overtime. We caught it in time with medication, lifestyle changes, and gentle daily walks. Harold got back his energy. Now, at 82, he plays cards with his buddies twice a week and cooks Sunday dinner for his grandkids. So let's talk about what puts your heart at risk. High blood pressure, especially if left untreated. Poor diet, too much salt, sugar, saturated. Fat smoking, even in the past, chronic stress and lack of sleep, diabetes. And high cholesterol, sedentary lifestyle. And how do we fight back? Know your numbers. Blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, track them. Eat heart smart, less processed food, more fiber. Healthy fats like olive oil and avocado move your body daily. 20 to 30 minutes of light activity is enough. Manage stress. Breathing exercises, light meditation. Talking to someone, sleep better. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep. And here's one more thing. See your doctor regularly, even if you feel fine, because sometimes your heart whispers before it screams. Mr. Green told me last year, I thought slowing down was normal, but turns out I just needed to give my heart some help. And now, as we bring this all together, I want to remind you, you're not helpless in the face of aging. You have more control and more hope than you think. Part 6, Conclusion: Living past 75 isn't just luck, it's an everyday choice. If you're still here, watching, listening, breathing, then you've already made it through so much. The truth is, life after 75 isn't always easy. There are aches, slower mornings, and a quiet loss of things you used to do without thinking. But here's the other truth: you're still alive. And that means you still have a say in how the rest of your story goes. Today, we talked about 5 of the biggest reasons why older adults don't make it much past 75. Dangerous falls, breathing trouble, and lung disease, stroke, memory decline, silent heart problems. But we also talked about the small, doable actions that can make all the difference. Let me be clear, you don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to care enough to begin. So tonight, maybe you go for a short walk instead of staying on the couch. Maybe you finally schedule that checkup you've been putting off. Maybe you drink a glass of water and breathe a little deeper before bed. Maybe you tell someone you love them and really mean it. You don't add years to your life all at once. You add them one small, kind choice at a time. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 areas do you want to start improving this week? Let us know in the comments below. Your experience might inspire someone else today. If this video helped you or made you think about your health in a new way, please give it a like, share it with a loved one, especially someone over 70, and don't forget to subscribe for more gentle, practical advice on living longer, stronger, and better. You've got more life to live. Let's live it well together.